Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to part 3 of this daily on parting kicking ass. We've talked a lot about the meta, and this one kinda doesn't count, this next game. It's actually going to be so short, this game, that we'll just do questions and then we'll just get the hell out. Because we gotta get up early and play Transistor. But not too early, I moved it to 11 a.m. is the official starting time of the day off. So we are on Habitation Station, and of course, Supernova is doing the good old command center play. Going to the goal. Oh. By the way, if you're looking for a good story-based game, play Wolf Among Us. Hot damn, that's good. When I want a story-based game, I'm either going to play a JRPG on the Super Nintendo, or I'm going to play a game whose mechanics are all about the story. I'm not going to go play, like, Tomb Raider for the story. I did love the story in Tomb Raider, but that's not what I'm going to go play if I need a story-based game. That's if I need to shoot someone in the face with a bow. Supernova is going to do this very swift gold. I mean, you can see the effects are clear. With 8 to 10 is already getting ahead. Actually, it's more like 7 to 10 with one of the SCVs not even registering in this yet. You get income fast, baby. Excuse me. I just want to leave this open just so you can, like, see how dope this is. So Supernova does something that I don't quite agree with. Let's actually talk about things from Supernova's side. There's a couple of key assumptions that you can make as the Terran player, like, oh, he's probably going to go for somewhat of an early expansion. Maybe not Nexus first, but maybe Gate Nexus. Look, he's like already ahead in income. And he has 2 dudes off duty. SCV moves out, it's scouting. What Supernova does that I don't like is he doesn't make a 3rd barracks. He moves up here and instantly rushes to kill this off because, you know, most of the time the person is going to go Zealot cancel and be very surprised to see this rush happening. This is just standard good play. But this is what makes me be like, you just don't quite have enough Marines to do what you want to do. I think going for something like 1 refinery, 1 barracks, and then another refinery, that seems pretty good in the hood. Supernova has a contain, but does not quite have enough Marines to deal with 1 mothership core. Let's look at this game from Parting's point of view. See how Parting begins off, pylon in the back. He's gonna build a gateway. Quack, quack, quack. Do-do-do-do-do, bopping, ba-do-do-do-do, ba-do-do. I'm gonna go to the Parting view. 14 gas, 15 gas, putting 3 in the gas right away, actually. Wait, was this a super early gateway? I wasn't... Did I show that? There we go. Yeah, 10 gate. Very, very early gateway. In fact, super damn duper early gateway. This is a pretty cool way to open up. You go for the 10 gate, and then 13 assimilator, 15 assimilator. Basically getting them both by 15, as is in the case in a normal game. And what you're going to do with this strategy is get a super fast Mama Ship Core, and then do something very techie focused. So we see 3 and 3. You can go Stargate Mothership Core harass really, really, really nicely with this. That's more or less what we see. Here comes the Mothership Core out, getting chrono boosted up and up. And this is, again, knowing a little bit about the meta game. We see a Stalker coming up, pretty standard fare, but there is going to be just enough to get a super fast Stargate as well. Very cool little play. Why the hell would Parting want to get such an incredibly fast mothership core? Well, because on this map, one of the possible plays is this super duper quick gold base. So Parting's waiting a little bit while he has this SCV in his main base to clear it out. And then he just goes to town, picking off Marines. There's the Stargate. Here's the dead SCV coming up. This is one of these things that I just think is such a gorgeous accounting of the metagame. What you could say is, oh, those Terran players, they love to do that lift to the gold. So I guess I need to figure out a way to take my existing strategy that's in my tiny wedge and figure out how it plays against that strat. And Parting just says, what is really good against this? Super fast mothership core. And you know what? If I went for a fast Stargate, that would be a very good play to do against a regular old Terran expanding player. And in fact, a regular old Terran expanding player would probably still struggle against this, slamming into their main base so fast. Really cool. And then Parting, upon seeing that he's walled in, just sits here with his mothership core, ripping everything to shreds. Parting. Parting. Don't make it bad. Yeah. Insane. So good. Let's take questions. I hope there was some valuable insights into metagame considerations and how to react, and also how to not overreact to them. Thanks for tuning in. I'm really happy with how that show went. Yeah! I'm very happy about the show! Drodo, what do you want to know? Day 9 PVZ, when your ramp is far from your natural nexus, when is it wise to wall in a line drawn through your nexus instead of walling off the ramp? Generally it's okay to wall off in a line, like as part of the, as not part of like a, well, I don't want to say that. You really need to have a choke that you're actually creating an obstruction through. Not this implied wall nonsense. And by that I mean, like, you know, you have your nexus and a cannon and, you know, like a forge and a gateway, but he can actually just walk around like that into the mineral line, and you're like, no, but you're not supposed to do that. You really need to have, like, here's a line, and behind it is my nexus. I think that, yeah, if you can create, like, a wall somewhere, that's pretty reasonable to consider. Generally, you really just kind of want to have that wall, though. I'm trying to think of a circumstance in which it's, like, really great to do. I think if you have a semi-easily defendable third base, I don't mind the idea of going like one gate, expand with a Stargate, and then going 2 Void Ray, and then expanding to your third, but you still need to kind of close off the front. I think that's really important. Blue SC says, what exactly is the point of canceling the second Stalker? Where did the resources go? And does it actually make that much of a difference? Yes, it always makes a difference. If you can save that money, you should do it. Always. 100% of the time. 100% of the time. Here's the argument as to why. Why would you need a second Stalker? To keep defense there in case he's going to continue to apply a lot of pressure. Or if you think that his Reaper is going to have a high probability of getting into your main base, and you want to make sure, absolutely certain, that he doesn't get the scout and you can kill the Reaper. If for some reason you know you're not going to die, and you know the Reaper isn't going to get into your base, you just don't need the second Stalker. So why wouldn't you cancel it? Why wouldn't you do that? You get an advantage. Is it big? Is it small? It's an advantage! Do it! Take the free advantage! If you were playing StarCraft 2, and you saw a power-up on the ground that said 25 minerals, is 25 minerals really going to make a difference in the final outcome of the game? You might argue, well, 25 minerals is hardly impactful. That's half a probe. I'm not going to... Get the goddamn 25 minerals! There's 25 minerals lying right there! That's 25 minerals, man. If there was one mineral on the ground, I would get that one mineral 100% of the time. And you have no argument against it. There's none. The only thing is that it feels a little wrong. It feels a little bit incorrect. It feels like you're violating some exterior law. But I started building the thing. Why is it optimal in any game to start a thing and then to cancel the thing? Who gives a shit? It's free. It's a free advantage. There's a quarter on the ground in StarCraft. You pick that up. Get your quarter. Yeah, there you go. It's a little teensy advantage. So pick it up. And all right, here's a real nerd cred. Tell me what game this is from. You pick it up and place it in your purse. Don't you dare Google it, because it will guaranteed come up. Let's see. I should go on to subscriber mode, because I know at least the subs are honest. Terran says, what do you think the biggest weakness of Parting's playstyle is? I think the biggest weakness is that he's still playing Protoss, and he tends to drive a lot of focus into a single area. He's really trying to maximize the success of this small area of play. So often when his opponents are just playing very thoughtfully, a player like MVP, I think, would that sort of mindset, that very thoughtful play, would succeed. You pick it up and place it in your purse. Who knows? You pick it up and place it in your purse. Alright, so here's an interesting question from Farisar. When you mentioned coin flipping earlier in the show, does it evolve more so into a dice roll, where the odds of certain numbers are more in your favor and some spare room for a chance to impact the game anyways, simply based on lack of exact knowledge? Something like a 70-30 scenario. So, the way I would answer it is, however you model it just does not really matter. The mental model of, is it a coin flip? Is it a dice roll? What's the probabilities like? The answer to that does not impact your gameplay positively nor negatively. The correct thing is to say that when you do feel like, it feels like there's a coin flippy thing going on here where I don't have enough information, that there are opportunities to search aggressively for that sort of information. So within a game, God, how do I know if he's going to go for a fast pool or not? Well, you can do the really cool scout patterns we saw Parting do and greatly reduce that chance of losing to that 6 pool. Oh, because of course everything's probability. If you scout a guy and he's building double spire and one's morphing into a greater spire, he's probably going for air. But he could just suddenly go mass baneling. I mean, he could do that, but it would probably be awful and you'll win anyways. And that small probability is almost always awful and you'll win anyways, so we don't worry about that. But again, you can do that in-game analysis, where you can do the scouting stuff, and that reduces your probability of losing to a 6 pool. At the same time, you can say, well, what's the metagame like? What are people generally doing? Well, you can research your opponent a lot. You can research what a lot of Zergs are doing a lot, and just look and go, geez, well, 80% of Zerg players go triple hatch before pool on Frost. And if ever someone says, oh yeah, I flipped a coin and I lost, totally, that's not an answer. That's all fake. But if they say 80% of Zergs over 300 games went 3 hatch before pool, and I looked at my opponent's history, and for a month he's been going 3 hatch before pool, and he has never once in an important match done a strategy that he hasn't done in a lesser important match beforehand. So I think that is a lot of evidence to bring to the table to support the hypothesis that 3 hatch before pool is probably what he's going to do. Also, here, let me just get this one lock of hair. There we go. So that's how I think. All right. Let's take one more question. Yes. Laura Bow 2, the dagger of Amun-Ra. That's right. Don't touch it! You don't know where it's been. Ah, last question from Worker. Who's the greatest gift giver? P.S. In that pack of magic cards, I ripped a Garrick. Mythic Planeswalker, that's what I'm talking about. You said in the past that in-game decision-making is very difficult. Can you elaborate again? The reason I think that in-game decision-making is difficult is that I say that statement because it, I think, guides to a more comfortable, successful model of thinking. So let's say your brain has 10 units of focus and it's maxed. So when you're writing your name, you only need 1 unit of focus. When you're playing something like StarCraft, you need like 8 or 9 units of focus. So if you are doing or you're in a game, you have never practiced a strategy before, and you're trying it for the first time, you're going to need all 10 units of focus just to try to remember what it is you're doing. After you've played maybe 100 games with it, you maybe only need 6 units of focus to do that strategy. But you still need quite a lot. And when you start getting to the intense segments of the game, where you are having to watch the mini-map and move around and look at what he's doing and reposition your stuff, you might need that 8 or 9 units of focus just to do that. And what I see many, especially new players, will do is think that a lot of the strategic analysis and the planning happens in the game. That you're playing a Ling Roach build and you see Protoss do whatever, and then suddenly it intuitively dawns on you that you need to abandon your Ling Roach style and switch to Corruptor now. And you're trying to now think, well, do I actually have the economy to be able to do that? I can't. And then, like, if you actually try to do it, you're going to need like 12 units of focus to be able to do that properly. Or you can be TLO. Who seems to just have those extra registers. And I think that is difficult and not very successful. I think what's best to do is to say, I don't know, I'm going to try this. To make a decision as fast as you can in the game, commit to it, and do it well. Go back to executing, positioning, making sure you're not missing probes and pylons, and then that will give you the chance after the game to say, well, shit, if he goes for that Stargate play, do I have enough time to just get Corruptors and quit my Ling Roaching? And then you might play 10 games in single player and realize, oh no, my economy is not very appropriate. Maybe I can get a better. How do I get a better economy to be able to make this transition? And then you come up with an idea after 3 or 4 more games in single player, and you're like, okay, now I'm going to try this in the game. You have done the strategic planning between the games, and when you're in the game, you're playing, he doesn't do the Stargate thing. Cool. Autopilot, all execution. Alright, well, now we have a game. Oh wait, he's doing that Stargate play. and then your plan just kicks into motion, and you're like, all right, now I'm going to manage my economy this way, and now I have enough drones to get the corruptors. And it didn't work at all, and I lost. All right, cool. Wow. The strategy that I tried and worked on a lot, that I created a good economy for, didn't work. I can say with much higher confidence that this is an incorrect move. Imagine if you were in the middle of a game and you switched to corruptors and it didn't work, and you're like, oh, okay, that's bad. And then you try to switch to hiders and it didn't work. Oh, that's bad. Etc. You wind up not guiding yourself properly. I'm going to go now. My roommate Kyla wants to watch the last 2 episodes of Season 1 of Hannibal. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Hannibal! Season 1. No spoilers. No spoiler o'clock. Do-do-do. Goodbye.